Yeah.
That's deep, Moguls, because
Yeah.
sometimes, even at our older age,
Yeah.
we can repeat or do the same thing. It could be dealing with the same person
Amen.
and won't.
Yeah.
We keep it real here on Mogul on the Move.
Absolutely.
And you going to God, God, why? God is asking why.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you repeating?
Shall we
Expecting.
continue? Yes. God forbid.
Shall we?
Yeah.
Shall we continue?
Yes.
It's like
Yeah.
we can't. And here's the thing: people will change. People can change. There's always
Mm-hmm.
those exceptions to the rules, but expecting a different result with the same action is just not. It's just not going to happen sometimes. So I think I'm gonna say, I think I touched on my childhood, the show before the last. The woman in my young adult age had to have been Professor Nancy Sims, and it's funny because that's over 20 years, and we still every now and then I'll reach out, or she'll have a kind word. But she was my women in politics studies professor. I mean, and just very empowering. She's worked on so many campaigns, um, a behind the scenes type of
Mm-hmm.
woman, but when she got in front of the classroom, she was just so empowering, and
Mm-hmm.
you just knew that she cared. Um, there was no fakeness. Just a very she was about women, and that inspired me because sometimes it could be impersonal and the workplace, and we can touch on this
Mm-hmm.
where women tear each other down more than support and build each other up. Men can have a tat or a tiff, and they back. Hey, y'all want to do lunch?
Mm-hmm.
It could be at 9 a.m. and by 12 p.m. they
Mm-hmm.
planning lunch. Um, but that's what kind of like stuck out. Like, wow, there are women out here that are in powerful places because was a professor part time. Her career was very, a very powerful career behind the scenes for
Mm-hmm.
quite a few politicians, and I think she worked with Democrats and maybe a couple of Republicans too. But for her to just really want to inspire us, motivate us, I feel like that's important. So, do you
Right.
feel like there's still a lack, and have you experienced, which most of us have, where you really were kind of disappointed in some of the women that you may have worked with, feeling like we should support each other as
Absolutely.
women.
In my 34 years of government service,
Hmm.
the last 6 were different. And I don't know if it's environment or culture, or because in Texas I experienced it more
More
when I
support or more
more
tearing down, more
tearing down,
politics of it all. Okay.
more crab in a bucket
Mm.
mentality.
So in the South,
Virginia,
guys, was okay, different experience,
Virginia was it was
totally different.
amazing.
So the North, okay.
It was educated, professional, supportive, uh, uplifting,
Mm.
inspiring. It was amazing. And I'm
Wow.
being honest, it's a
Wow.
different mentality up north than it was down south.
Mm. I think it probably has to deal with things that are still embedded in us. Definitely. I think there's definitely a different atmosphere as it pertains to we'll say entrepreneurship, companies or entrepreneurs in the South compared to those in the North. How many have multiple partnerships?
Mm-hmm.
How many are just sole proprietors? Just the attitude of assisting. I did share when I entered the real estate industry. I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna go to these two women and get advice and opinion because I, esteem them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, that was interesting. I just kind of taken aback. Like, I'm just asking. I'm not asking for business. I didn't want to work for you. I just wanted advice and opinion. What to look out for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What you know, not to do, maybe to do, to kind of get your foot in the door in the industry. So it kind of shocked me. But once again, we're in the South. Maybe there's still that mentality, like you say, crab in a bucket. Um, just a totally different
Slave mentality.
atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's still kind of underline, especially, I guess, with certain cultures. And I think it goes throughout all races of people, but as we experience, and you could say the different races. There is still racism in real estate. I've literally worked with. So I was just telling a friend of mine this not too long ago. I literally, people see my name before they see my face, and they'll think that I'm a Caucasian male, right? And then I never forget this one guy I had been communicating with via email and via text, and he was all gung ho. And then finally, he's like, "All right, bro, I can't wait to meet you." He's coming from Milwaukee, and as soon as I sent my email from where I have my footer with my picture, he totally went ghost.
How unfortunate,
isn't that? And I say, it still exists. It's interesting. I don't know if it was because I was maybe it could have just been just that I was a female. It may not have had anything to do with even my color. I would never know, right? But it was just very interesting. And speaking of women, and we'll talk about this during the next segment. Speaking of men and women, the respective as it comes to careers. And this morning they were talking about the difference with pay. And women still make only 80, I think it was 1% on every dollar. So it's 81 cents to every dollar that a man makes, regardless of education, regardless of experience. So we'll talk about that when we come back. Have you seen that in the workplace?
No, I can't say I haven't, because government, you have a grade, you have a step, and the pay is across the board.
All right, so we'll touch on that when we get back, guys.
We work our whole lives to support our families. With one accident or illness, it can all be gone in an instant. Now there's a smart, affordable way to protect your family. Go to findhealthbenefits.com and discover low-cost life insurance for as little as $2 per month. Add to that a tax-deferred annuity that can help you protect your assets and grow your money for retirement. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. A critical illness can strike without warning and wipe out your life savings. In fact, it's the #1 reason for bankruptcy. Find Health Benefits offers an affordable solution. Get up to $50,000 if you get cancer, stroke, or a heart attack, giving you the peace of mind to focus on getting better while the plan helps you to pay your bills and medical expenses. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. 66% of seniors spend more time shopping for cable TV than Medicare plans. Most say because it's just too confusing. Laws change every year. The wrong plan could cost you thousands and prevent you from seeing the doctors you want. Introducing FindHealthBenefits.com. Save time, save money, see specialists without referrals. Go to FindHealthBenefits.com or call 877-235-6094 for this informative brochure.
Society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
All right, Mogul, so we're back, and I love to have my conversational cocktails. This is the family edition, so it's definitely spicy. Got a little Creole spice today. My gorgeous and beautiful inside and out aunt, Roxanne. And so we're going to, I guess, delve a little bit deeper into what we were speaking about last segment, and supporting. You kind of touched on something that I shared with you guys the show before the last, regarding we're going to delve into being an African American woman, because we are African American, and so I think we experienced the same thing, getting more, I guess, kickback from African American women, where you thought that you would go and get, I was so excited. Oh my God, I'm gonna, go approach them and tell them how much I've admired them, and if they can just give me, any advice and opinion. That's really all I asked for. I had already chosen what broker I wanted to be with, so, and maybe that was the reason why they didn't want to give me advice and opinion. I don't know, but I feel like there's enough business in Houston to where if you're just giving me advice and opinion, I'm not going to affect your piece of the pie, right? And so I ended up having to get advice and opinion, and actually help from an older Caucasian woman and a Caucasian man. Now, we always want to spew hate. Oh, the white man, this and the white man that. Yeah, there's still a lot of racism. But then you have good people, and then we'll, have that crab in the bucket mentality when we should be empowering and, okay, yeah, let me tell you, look out for this.
Yes.
You don't want to do this and that. This is really good for you to do, with marketing yourself and, just really giving those little jewels, for those coming. That's what we should do. So had you experienced the same thing?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I, again, in my career, experienced more prejudices or kickbacks, as you said, from from African American women mostly. Now, the men seem to be a little bit more supportive, the black men, but the black women, we were more competitive, more jealous-hearted, more negative, and it was not a good experience.
Disheartening. It can be disheartening, and so
very.
Your experience. Now, you said that you had a supervisor when you went up north in Virginia, and you kind of were a little hesitant because of you finding out that she was African.
Because of my experience, yes, because of my experience in all those years with black women, when I found out that I was getting ready to have another black supervisor, I cried tears.
Wow.
Because of the past experiences. And she ended up being my mentor. She ended up being a inspiration, motivation in my life to this day.
And do you think, and I think so too, that once again it's that Southern mentality, that Northern mentality. There was some difference.
And education. What I found, you have your educated and uneducated, and I think that played a big part into it as well, because most of the people up north, I mean, it was just amazing to me. You had so many blacks that were up there, master's degrees, doctorates, bachelors, GS 13, 14,
that was working
15,
for the government.
Working for the government. And down south, we weren't, in my experience, as interested in furthering our education or getting that college education. Most people that I work with did not have the degrees down south. This is reality, my reality. But up north,
and it is that way. Every industry has a different type of formula, to what's going on as it pertains to if you can get a certain position, if you have the experience, or if you don't. If you're forced to get your master's degree to go up the chain, or if you're not, you having that choice. Will you choose it? Will you not? But that's very, very interesting. So I will say this: I feel like, to me, it's even the small things when we talk about motivating and inspiring. We see so many women empowerment posts, and you got this conference, that conference. You got a conference every two a day.
Right.
Every other day. It's a women empowerment conference. But what are you doing when you leave the conference?
Right.
Monday through Sunday, your everyday life. As you're walking, are you speaking? Are you saying good morning? Are you smiling? Or do you have what I call a stank look on your face?
Right.
Because I get a lot of that, and I make people speak to me. Hey, how are you? Good morning. Oh, I love your dress. Right. What energy are you giving off? Because to me, that's another form of celebrating women empowerment,
Yes.
motivating women. Sometimes it's just a simple compliment. It's just your attitude, a simple smile, or simple, how was your day going? And being
Absolutely.
genuine when you ask and exuding genuine energy. We really can kind of lack sometimes in that. And it's funny because sometimes when I do that, some women are so stuck in a stank face. They're just like, they're shocked. I guess they're surprised. Like, why are you complimenting me, or why are you? So don't you feel like we should have more of that, just uplifting, even on a smaller scale? Sometimes it's the small
Oh,
things.
yes, we should have more. And I think while we don't, I would say it's contributed to the struggles that we've experienced. So it makes us angry or unhappy or bitter. So I think a lot of bitterness is there with Black women. Lacking in love. I think that affects our attitude as well.
And I guess a combination of childhood and our relationships.
Yes.
Yes,
your upbringing, your
experienced.
experiences. And I think we as Black women have suffered so that it affects our personality, our attitudes more so than the average white woman.
And we're going to go back to your statement. Shall we continue?
Absolutely not.
If
God forbid.
If you're in your 40s and you still, walking around looking angry.
Yeah, pray about it. Ask God to remove that bitterness and anger.
Please.
And He will.
Fast and pray.
Oh,
and
yes.
Really, because we're Christians. In our family, we're Christians. Right. And regardless of what religion you are, the core of most religions is peace, right? And so if you're truly focused for us, because we're Christians, it's Jesus and God.
Yes.
Now, whatever religion you are, it's whatever that is,
right.
For you. But when you're truly mature, that could be reading the Word more. I didn't start really reading the Word on a daily basis until 5 years ago, and I'm 42, right? Okay. So I start doing it later in life. I would, read it here and there, and you go to church or you listen to church here and there, but I didn't make it a daily routine. Right. And I definitely noticed the difference when I made it a daily routine. Made prayer, you wake up in the morning or pray at night, but when you pray throughout the day as well, just you get into the habit of, you can just be in the shower. God, I thank you. Literally, I'll say, God, I thank you that I have water to just take a shower. Some people can't even take a shower. And you just start becoming grateful for the smallest of things. And I think that allows you to live a grateful life out of gratefulness. And then you really can keep joy. Even you have those tough days, but throughout even hard times, you kind of keep that joy, that peace of mind. I don't know. It's like they say, surpasses understanding. It's hard to explain it. But do you feel like that is what has allowed you to have a positive attitude throughout even the hard times? You have
no doubt
your hard days, but
I know you saw the better part of me, but as a child I was so angry. I had a lot of anger, a lot of bitterness, and I actually wasn't very kind, or just like most of us today, Black women. And I began to pray, God, please remove this bitterness from my heart, this anger, creating me a clean heart.
Of your childhood,
my childhood, no mother, no father, kids just being mean to you, just experiences growing up in life,
very traumatic experiences,
heartbreaks. So you carry that anger, and God showed that to me, and I was like, God, please remove it, and He did that, and that's why I miss. Oh God, good morning, beautiful. How are you? I love you. It's the God in me that will make.
Just gonna say, I was thinking about that song.
It will make a difference.
Mary and Kiki. Yes. It's the God in me.
It will make a difference as well.
Seeking out truly, my prayer for women sometimes, especially it could be a woman in my personal space, to never put anything or anybody before God.
Never.
So here's an example of that.
Never that.
If you find yourself talking about someone who's, hurting you, we talk about those negative relationships, and it could be a work relationship. Maybe if your every conversation 90% of the conversation when I'm talking to you is negative, you're not focused on God.
Right.
You can't be.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you're putting whatever that person, that situation
Mm-hmm.
is before God, because you can't. God is about joyfulness and about peace, love, and so it's almost like you putting this thing or this person before God, and I think that's what keeps us bitter. And you might agree with me. I always say, why, if you in church every Sunday, Tuesday, Saturday, shouting, falling
Mm-hmm.
out, rolling on the ground, but then when Monday comes, you back to angry, bitter. You'll hurt yourself to smile.
Right.
Every time you're talking to someone, it's a negative conversation. The woe is me, self-loathing mentality. Then you're truly not putting God first. Do you agree?
I would have to agree. And as you were talking, I was thinking about the power of words and how God says there's life and death in our words. And if we begin
That's
to
true.
speak
It's powerful.
The word of God, speak the positive words, speak the inspiring, uplifting words, it will change who we are as well.
Do you feel like that's what helps change the mindset as well?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Life and death.
Okay.
Faith come by hearing. And if you're speaking those things
That's
over
true.
and over, you begin to believe them and you begin to live them. So
and it becomes habit, right? A part of your life. It's so interesting. We'll delve more into that for the next segment, and we'll talk a little bit about your career and what it is like to be retired. A retired mogul.
It is like heaven.
Feels like heaven.
It's liberating. It's freedom. It's beautiful.
Yes.
And to retire financially stable, to retire.
Now, there's a difference.
It is.
Oh, God. So we're going to definitely.
Yes.
And you can give a little advice and opinion on that if you choose to.
Yes.
All right, guys. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Carlin Charleston, Executive Director of Erase Races, and I want to take this time to invite you to an opportunity to change the world. Perhaps you're too busy and too preoccupied to help change the world, but please take the next 2 minutes to listen to how we plan to do it. The divisiveness and bitterness observed in our country today is not a coincidence of the current administration or any administration before. It is also not a product of a singular or multiple infractions by a zealous or racist police force. No, the race problem precedes the founding of our country. Our very history speaks in racial language, and most everything that happens in our society now carries with it racial baggage. It simply does not have to stay that way. The Erase Race campaign has only one objective: the unifying of all Americans, and that without regard to the color of their skin. This is a difficult challenge because of our history, but we can do it if we believe. If we believe that Martin Luther King Jr. was right when he said, "We are tied together in a single garment of destiny," we can do it. We can do it if we believe the founding principles upon which our country was built, that all men are created equal, we can do it. And if we believe that God did in fact make all nations of men from one man, and that we are all therefore part of one family, one race, then we can do it. Yes, the task is monumental, but the reward is worth the challenge. If you would like to join us as we change America and inevitably change the world, go to eraseraces.com, sign up today, and welcome to Erase Races, because there is only one race and you're in it.
All right, Mogul. So we are back, and we're talking about the power of words. And my aunt was kind of talking to us about how powerful and life and death is truly in the tongue. And so there was one of the quotes that you were talking about that really is not true. That's
right.
People say it all the time.
And I'm sure some in my age group would have heard it. Had you heard it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And you say that, and you say it even while you're hurting. I recall people saying mean things to me, and that would be my response. But at the same time, I'm hurt because words are so powerful. They will destroy your confidence, your morale. I mean, they could do so much damage.
And do you feel like that plays a role into what we were saying? So on the break, we were talking about the fact that once you start speaking positive words, it could be to yourself and to others. Your mindset is very important. And I've always been, my family knows, I just had this conversation with my sister a couple of days ago. I said, y'all know, I've always been a strong-willed person. I do get emotional. I cry every now and then, but I'm not one that's a woe is me. Or one of my quotes that I like to say is, God's will is going to be done. This is whatever I'm going through is going to work out for my good if I have faith. And so I choose to have joy regardless of what situation I'm in, whether it be personal or the workplace. But a lot of that has to do with, because we've all gone through the stages where we weren't there, right?
Right.
As I've gotten older, what did I say? About 5 years ago, started reading the word daily, empowering myself, and then start to speak things that are positive, whether it's from the word or me just giving myself affirmation. Okay, Sean, you choose to have joy. It's a choice. You can't blame anybody else if you don't have joy. You can't allow someone else to take your joy, regardless of what the situation is. And speaking those positive things to others and to yourself becomes habit. But it also changes your mindset. You start looking at, I don't care what, I could have just had an argument with someone. It could be in the family, whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm back to whistling. Okay, well, let me see what I'm getting ready to do. I'm back to having a joyful mindset. It affects your mind and it becomes habit. And you end up living life, more of a joyous life, regardless of what may be going on. Do you feel like speaking words become habit and also become a mindset?
Absolutely. Faith come by hearing, and you start believing what you're hearing. And when you said mind, I thought about the word of God. And when he said, if you keep your mind stayed on me, I'll keep you in perfect peace. So if your mind is constantly on all things are going to work together for my good, because I love the Lord, you know that. You know that in your mind that this is going to work out for my good. And if I give, I shall receive. And if I'm going to reap from what I sow. So goodness. So you start speaking those things, your mind begin to change, and that peace begin to come when your mindset is so. That is the devil's stomping ground. Your mind. He will try to play with your mind and put all those negative thoughts, and that's why you have to put the positive thoughts, the word of God.
And it's gonna happen. We're all gonna have days where negative thought may still creep in.
The devil is a liar.
Immediately
speak against it.
You have to immediately speak, oh, devil, I'll either say, like, devil, you are a liar. I don't even have time to foolish with you with this foolishness. Are you, whatever your verbiage you choose to use, but you have to immediately, attack him. Like, you are underneath my feet. You know, God is working on my behalf. Whatever you need to say, but it definitely, when you speak it, it's not just putting in the atmosphere. It's really putting it. It's reaffirming your mindset. The mind, and it's funny because I just had another conversation with someone dear to me, and I said, if you have all day long, I've watched you on social media, you on this, you on Facebook, you on this, but you can't read the word every day, then you can't say God is number one in your life.
It would be hard to say. It would be hard to say that.
Your actions are not lining up with your words. You You may even actually believe that. It doesn't mean you don't love God and you don't believe in God, but He is not the first in your life.
Right.
And it's where we don't realize how important just everything we put into our mind, right? You're going to have the worldly things because we are in the world. We're living in the world, right? So you're going to have certain movies that you watch. You're going to see certain things on social media, conversations you may have with friends, coworkers, or whatever, loved ones. So you definitely have to feed yourself and your mind with the word and positive reinforcement, right? Because it's just so much out there, especially the kind of world we live in now. It's totally different than when you guys were your generation.
Right.
Even my generation, you know, we started off with beepers. We didn't have cell phones, I think, until early 20s. But it wasn't as much influence, you know.
Right.
The physical influence, the images.
Yes.
You know, and
it's
you know, it's just so many different roles being portrayed. It's just, you know, your mind can just be all over the place.
Right.
So what are you using as your anchor?
Yes.
What is your anchor? And if you only reading scripture on Sunday when you watching the sermon, you know,
it's not
you're
going
not
to sustain
anchored
you.
Monday through Saturday.
Right.
You know, it's not going to sustain you. So definitely. Now, speaking of your career, share a little bit of your career with the Moguls, and what was that like for you? And getting to where, are you amazed that, wow, I was able to, you know, go up that ladder
I'm amazed
in my industry and able to retire comfortably.
I'm amazed.
And be at peace financially, be at peace mentally.
Yes. It's truly amazing, and I must give God the glory. I began my career in Germany as a GS3, in government service GS3, and my desire is always to do better. So I worked hard and long hours and had the right personality, attitude, volunteered for whatever, even sometimes free.
We can't skip over that. My people, stop always looking for monetary gain.
Right.
Sometimes you have to know how to humble yourself.
Yes.
We don't like to humble ourselves to get further. It could be financially. It could be staying in that car that's paid off for another 2-3 years.
Right.
You know, it could be, like you said, volunteering at work.
I volunteered for 3 weeks in accounting because I've always loved numbers. So I would go to the office every day, and this white woman named Roxy would show me how to balance the ledgers, show me how to
show, not
accounting.
Try to hide, but show.
Okay, show. And because of that, that's how I got into accounting. That's how I got into budgeting, and that's how I got my career field started. And by me volunteering those 3 weeks, I retired making 6 figures.
See what I'm saying?
Because of that, volunteering in accounting.
For humbling yourself and not, you know.
That was revelation for me right now.
No, it's an humbling experience. And so many of us, we always equate that to personal life.
Right.
But it also works in the workplace.
It does.
It could be, so for my industry, it could be, now I'm a producing agent, and so I'm interviewing to be with this top group, and I could easily be like, I'm not assisting with no open house because no.
I'm not doing that for free.
Let me tell you, I will sweep the floor before the open house. Okay, if that's what it's going to take to get But that's when your heart is really into something, and you're not going into it with ego,
right,
and with pride, and because none of that is of God,
or just the monetary gain.
Yeah, monetary gain. Those are not characteristics that are of God.
Right.
Ego, pride, and as if the world owes you something. No, you have to sometimes, even in the workplace, have an humble spirit. It will get you so much farther. Sometimes, like, you didn't know accounting, right?
At all.
It can get you further sometimes than someone who is more experienced or more degreed. Do you agree with that? Have you dealt with that? Have you experienced?
I was the only one in my office that did not have a degree. I had doctorates. I've had they have master degrees. That almost everyone in my last 6 years in up north, all of them had a degree. And I made more money than some of them with degrees.
You know what I'm saying?
So
that's
it speaks volume.
That's a jewel, guys.
It speaks
attitude,
volume. Oh, God.
Having an humble spirit, a positive attitude, and work ethic. Working and
it does. Now I must say that hard work and determination it plays. I mean, it contributes. But that attitude, I believe my attitude, volunteering, oh, I'll do it. Would you like me to help? Or what would you like for me to do? Good morning, everyone. I think that helped me climb that ladder. Yeah. So I went from a GS3 to a GS13 in my career without a degree. So degrees are important. Education is important. Like I said, I've noticed educated folk and uneducated folk,
sometimes
their
reasoning,
yes, their comprehension, and because I don't have a degree doesn't mean we don't have a degree doesn't mean we're not educated, because you can still have education and not have a degree. But I'm talking about uneducated folk.
Yeah, the mentality.
So I'm grateful that I was able to climb that ladder, and I believe again.
You think it was God's favor?
It was.
We'll end on God's favor, guys.
It was God's favor.
Important.
It was what I was sowing. So if you sow, you give, you're gonna receive. If it's of your time, if it's of your money, I will buy gifts for my co-workers, or that's just who I am. You know, you and I both we're givers. So your giving, really. Give and you shall receive is so important.
So this is a good I guess ending of the show. Give and you shall receive in every way. Say you can't give monetarily. Giving of a positive word.
Yes. Knowledge.
Giving of a prayer, being genuine.
Yes. Information.
Information is free.
Yes.
So I guess my activity for you guys, my homework for you guys, for you moguls, all these women out here, these beautiful women out here, it is International Women's Herstory Month. I want you guys to take your time. It could be a coworker, it could be a stranger, a family member, and I want you to do something selfless. I want you to put some positive energy out there, whatever it may be, whatever you may deem necessary for that individual that you want to show a little love to, right? And kind of watch how God's favor will start pouring down on you when you give selflessly, and genuinely, right? So we're gonna take that homework with us, and I'm gonna do it too. That'll be my activity, as well. All right, so guys, we will be back next Monday. Be sure to follow me at mogulonthemove.com. Thank you guys for viewing. This has been such a blessing. I want to thank my aunt again for coming on.
Thanks for having me
and just giving us some jewels that we really can take to heart and really let it resonate in our heart and apply to our everyday life. So I want to thank you again, and also for inspiring me. And until next time, guys, definitely DM me if you have any other questions or topics you want me to kind of touch on, and I definitely will. I definitely will respond. But at Mogul on the Move, thank you guys so much. All right, as always, be kind. Be kind to someone. All right, until next time.